have selfish motives. Like, they're really not thinking of a cohesive country on the whole. They're thinking of, how can I win with, like, you know, it's like all a competition now. Like, they're looking at our population as groups, categories. They're not looking at us as individuals.
The problem is that government is corrupt.
That way. Exactly.
Not everyone at once, guys. Let's make sure we keep it one person at a time.
Sorry, this is definitely a heated argument, but
absolutely, and it's great. Keep on going.
But I think that it is the job of our officials to regulate things that could be a problem. And if that means that homosexuals should not come out because it'll be a problem for others, then maybe that is the stance that we need to take.
Well, the problem is that in politics, it's not all about being right or being just or doing what's best for the country. It's
I mean, isn't
corruption.
That how it was
Government's
founded?
corrupt.
But is that how it was supposed to be from, like, the start of our country? That, okay, we're going to have politics, we're going to have to be a little corrupt.
That's just the way that things have flown.
But that's not the way things were supposed to be.
The intent and the spirit are different than the de facto.
Right.
So change it. Like, to me, it doesn't make sense how people can't
but
just
the people
simply
in power
say,
to
wow,
change it are the people whose re-election is on the line. They're not going to vote themselves into a potentially power-jeopardizing situation.
Why? Because absolute power
because
is
they're trying to get into that power. So
no, I know, but why do they want that power so bad? Like,
because
I think this is an issue beyond what we're talking about.
Yeah, that's a whole nother issue. Power and people is...
That's a whole nother show.
One thing, back to the gay rights issue, one other thing, though, the unit cohesiveness issue aside, because as Great Britain exemplified, it was a non-issue. That aside, you have the issue of modesty rights. In fact, the author of, one of the primary authors of the original Don't Ask, Don't Tell policy, I don't remember his name, he was a professor at Northwestern, has said, and I quote, F unit cohesion, this is an issue of modesty rights. No one forces me to shower. No one's going to force me to shower with a woman. No one's going to force me to shower with a gay male.
Right.
So,
well, the problem is that although the foundation of our country was to separate religion and government, we haven't. So I think that's definitely the main issue here. So.
And that brings up an issue too that's important to address is.
And we will come back to that when we come back from the commercial break, because the discussion has been so wonderful and so heated. I want to make sure that I don't cut any great ideas off in the middle. So we do have to take a short commercial break, but before we do so, if you would like to contact us here at Trojan Vision, either to be a wonderful panelist on the show or to give us your feedback on how much you're loving the show, you can give us a call at 213-743-2722. You can shoot us an email at www.trojanvision.com. You can shoot us an email at Platforum@trojanvision.com, or you can visit our website where there is always a live feed of what's going on Trojan Vision at www.trojanvision.com. We'll be back right after this. The conversation will keep on going, and we'll hope you join us. Wow.
Both the generosity of the American people and the resiliency of American business.
If you're a small business owner, it's essential to you and your community to get up and running quickly after any disaster.
Planning ahead can make a real difference. We urge you to visit ready.gov for free tools to help create an affordable emergency preparedness plan.
Because the faster you're back in business, the better for all of us.
In the event of a big emergency, and I'm at work, my daughter's school is 2 blocks away. That would be a very convenient meeting place for all of us.
We'd meet up at his parents' house.
A meeting place? Not really.
My husband would definitely pick up the girls from school.
I would want to make sure that she has the girls or is on her way to get the girls.
I know that there's a plan, but I don't know what the plan is.
Hurricane Katrina revealed both the general...
Resolve it.
That's right, we're never okay. What is going on? Jesus. Good evening. evening, everyone, and welcome back to Platforum. I am your host for tonight, Shauna Rappaport. We have had possibly the most intense conversation of all of the times I have ever hosted Platforum, and it's been a great debate. So we've been talking about the issue of gay rights, and more specifically, the issue of the don't ask, don't tell policy in the military. It's been a great conversation. We've been talking about the moral issues, government policies, those types of things, but we're going to shift the conversation now and kind of bring it home and talk about USC, because I think that's really important, especially since we have USC students here. I think that's what we need to do. So I'm going to start off by pointing out that during the recent Democratic candidate debate, both Hillary Clinton and John Edwards, actually, I'm not going to talk about that. I'm going to move on to a different question in light of everything that we've been talking about. Now, USC itself has established various different programs to help make homosexual students here at USC feel comfortable, from rainbow floors in some of the freshman dormitories to coming out events, to the lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender center. There have been a lot of different resources for homosexual students to utilize as far as support for their sexuality. So I want to begin by asking, do you think, as representatives of the USC student population, do you think that the USC student body is accepting of gay, lesbian students?
Well, I think you have The Advocate, which is a gay and lesbian themed magazine that deals with gay and lesbian social issues, which ranked USC tied with the University of Pennsylvania as the top gay-friendly school in the country. And you see a lot of unique initiatives. For example, the Rainbow Floor, where you have gay living communities at USC. So it's a lot more progressive, at least from the administrative standpoint, than most schools that one will find. At the same time, though, being USC, you have a much stronger conservative student base than you do in most other top-level schools. Right. So there's going to inherently be a degree of difference in resentment, but I don't think any more so than one would see in outside society.
Right, definitely. I definitely think USC is more liberal than society as a whole, or American society as a whole, but I definitely think for the type of university USC is, I think some of the students are a little bit less progressive in their thinking, a little bit more conservative, and I think a lot of students do come from more conservative backgrounds here.
What have your experiences been?
Well, I agree with that. I think that people are tolerant in the sense that they'll allow, rallies to happen and clubs and things like that. But I think that they kind of keep it at a distance. Okay, that's something. Well, I have my rights. Let them have their rights too. Mm-hmm. But I think that their personal beliefs, and definitely their conservative beliefs, kick in personally if they're having personal conversations amongst friends and their other peers.
You mentioned conservative beliefs, and I think that there's an important distinction to make between conservatism and current modern conservatism and republicanism. It seems that the Republican Party today tends to be one that places a higher emphasis on conservative social values, family values, religious values, whereas by definition, a conservative would take the opposite stance, saying that it's a hands-off approach, that the government shouldn't be regulating issues pertaining to people's private lives, that the people should decide that if the states want gay marriage, they should vote on that it's not a federal issue.
Well, I definitely believe that people that have come into power, Republicans specifically, have kind of changed what conservativeness means. I mean,
dramatic shift.
Definitely, because historically, Republicans are supposed to be hands-off, laissez-faire, don't interfere with people's personal lives, yet they're the ones advocating most that we need to take these rights away from these people, or these people don't deserve the same rights. So,
going back before, I'm curious as to whether you have any other insight on your experience.
It's actually weird because I agree with her definitely that it's accepting at a distance. It's like, oh, we'll give them we'll let them have this rally and then maybe they'll shut up. But at the same time, I actually have trouble with the GLBTA sometimes, because I do feel like a lot of gay organizations sometimes tend to ostracize themselves from saying we're gay and everything's so bad for us. And I just think it's sort of hard on college communities, because then you do get this rift between them, and I think there's no way. I mean, it becomes like a tolerance issue when it should be an acceptance issue. Accept that's the way people are, and instead, I don't know. I just
The problem is that you can never change. You can't change people, and you can't change their. Yeah. You can try as hard as you can to change their values and morals, but the problem is that you can't make people accept you, but you can.
Well, I think the problem is there's no integration with gays and straights on the campus. we're progressive because
I'm gay,
we
she's
allow.
straight. We love each other.
Yes.
We're progressive because we allow like gays to have their rallies, their meetings. But even then, like gays don't necessarily go after like, oh,